You're trying to reject a part of you. You're trying to ignore it. You're trying to deflect parts of who you are when you're supposed to embrace everything about you. That's what makes you you. What's good? It's your boy, Glacier, breaking down the icebergs of life. Now today, I'm doing something different. Today we're going to be looking at an illusion made in one of the greatest animes of all time. I want you guys to please watch this video called Naruto versus his true self. I'm one of the biggest Naruto fans, but for my anime watchers, I want this to really hit deep for you. Even if you don't watch anime, I want y'all to please just look at this moment right here.
辛かったよな。お前を分かってやれんのは俺だけなんだぞ。里のやつはなんか信じるな。ああ、里の人たちも大事だけど、他に信じなきゃならないものが先にある。自分を信じてみようと思うんだ。里のみんなに信頼されてる自分っていうのはよ。どうしてだ。あんなにかじらされてきたのに。タコのおっさんに気づかされた。自分ってのを全く疑ってもねえ。自分に誇りを持ってる。お前は俺が邪魔なのか。なら俺は一体何だったんだ。お前がいたから俺は強くなれた。お前のおかげでここまで来られた。だろ。俺はどうすりゃいい。そんなもん簡単だろ。お前は俺になりゃいい。お前も俺なんだから。今までありがとな。もういいんだ。
どうやらうまくいったんだね。
You see how Naruto handled his true self with acceptance, with a warm hug, with a warm embrace. That clip hits so hard for me. Now Naruto is one of my favorite animes. I think, in my opinion, it has literally the greatest anime villain of all time, being Madara Uchiha.
Back at it again with Naruto parody, yeah.
Why don't you just listen for a
He's
minute?
saying this.
But more importantly, Naruto, this is a little personal, but like it's to the point where I mess with him. I put him on my underwear. Naruto just it was one of The first anime that I was truly like, this really left the mark. And even as you get older too, the crazy thing about Naruto, which is why I hate people say that anime is for kids, is that as I got older, a lot of the things that Naruto was talking about that went over my head, they made a lot of sense. Like this moment right here, I knew that it was deep, but actually rewatching the clip even now, it hit harder than the first time I watched it. Everybody knows the story of Naruto, right? Nine Tails is inside of him. Everybody hates him. Everybody resents him. He's by himself. He's lonely. He sits on the swing for about 1/3 of the first show of Naruto. Then obviously Naruto Shippuden, he starts picking up, it starts getting serious, he starts really swapping hands. But for the first half, he just really had to deal with that loneliness. For the longest, Naruto hated himself because it was something that was really out of his control. He had such a resentment for him because everybody in the village treated him like he was an outsider. They didn't accept him. They made him feel it was his fault. They made him feel like he was the issue, that he was the problem, that he was an alien. Imagine what that can do to a child. Not being accepted by your peers. Not being accepted in your hometown for a reason that you have no understanding. They hated him, they didn't accept him at all. But until he came back to the Hidden Leaf for some sauce. Came back with his eyes on drippy mode. He had the drip on, man, came in that, he told Pain, you gotta chill, my brody. Put Pain in the dirt. Now everybody talking about some Naruto. Bro, I've been on Naruto wait. What you mean? All of a sudden now Naruto's their best friend. Now all of a sudden, after Naruto saves the village, all of a sudden he's everybody's favorite.
How you been?
Nah, I've been good. What made you call me out of nowhere?
I just wanted to call you. I can't call you now.
Nah, I'm up now.
That's not even the point I'm trying to get across. The point that I want to reflect on is Naruto versus true self. Naruto was so upbeat, he was so happy, he was known for being charismatic. But in the waterfall of truth, those were his true emotions. Those were his emotions under the surface. Those were the feelings that he had towards the villager, towards himself. And he could have suppressed it all he wants, but those were his feelings. Because you gotta really realize, like, they really treated Naruto like trash. It wasn't until he was 16 that he got accepted. So for 16 years of your life, imagine that. Imagine being hated by everybody around you and you don't know why. If you're hated by everybody around you, you're gonna think that it's your fault, even when it's not. And it's going to damage your mind. Now, it was so heartfelt about that moment. Naruto accepted those emotions, those negative emotions, that hatred. He accepted it. And what did he say? You're me. You're a part of me. Because that's the truth. You're trying to reject a part of you. You're trying to ignore it. You're trying to deflect parts of who you are when you're supposed to embrace everything about you. That's what makes you you. This really hit so hard for me because, like I said, I wasn't embracing everything about myself. I was fighting with who I was in the past. I wasn't embracing myself. I wasn't embracing all parts of who I am. All the parts that are too hard for me to reflect on, I just pushed it to the side. I pushed it to the back of my memory. I couldn't truly begin the steps of self-improving until I reflected on all of my hardest moments. So literally, that's what I did. One day, one night, sat down with myself and I just was going through my phone. I was using my phone as kind of like a memory retrieval, going through old text messages, looking at my old schedules. I was just looking at my old habits, my old lifestyle, just looking at how many TikToks I had saved, just looking at past phone data usage. 8 hours on my phone. Even looking at the tabs I was on, because you can do that. You can actually look at your history, and I think you can actually even check. It shows you what website you were on. And most importantly, I really sat down in the bathroom and I just looked at myself in the mirror. I was just talking to myself about things that I went through. I was talking to myself about my failures, my defeats. And I took notes for some of the things that really stung with me, because I really wanted to reflect on what did I do after I received that negative emotion. For example, after I got cut from the basketball team, that emotion hit deep with me. What was then that output of that emotion? I didn't do anything. I followed up that emotion with some of the worst, I guess you could say it was really the worst period of my life. That's when my porn tabs were the highest. That's when my TikTok usage was the highest. That's when my view time on YouTube was the highest. That's when my grades were the lowest. I was just connecting dots to myself, and I really was ashamed of myself. And like I even said in previous videos, when I used to be addicted to masturbation, I wasn't even proud of myself. I was ashamed of myself, to the point where it was like that Naruto clip. I didn't want to, for the longest, I didn't want to look in the mirror and reflect. I didn't want to embrace the next step. I didn't want to embrace my failures. I didn't even want to fail again, because I was too scared to take any leaps of faith after that, because I didn't want to feel the pain of rejection. I didn't attempt to go out of my comfort zone at all. I held myself back for so long. But like I said, it was the one day that I really sat down that one night and just said, you know what? Let me look at the parts of myself that I don't like. Let me look at the parts of myself that are holding me back. Let me look at the parts of myself that I want to change. And that's what I did. After learning about all the hardships that I went through, after learning about all the defeats, my negative emotions would lead up to me chasing the dopamine. Instead, what I decided to do was, I had all these negative emotions that I wanted to put into something positive. For the first time, I saw all of these negative emotions, and instead I took those emotions and I fueled myself. And then I applied logic. You didn't make the basketball team, it's because of the work that you were putting in. I added in reality into the mix. And then I read books after. After I did that, I understood myself. And I understood the things that I had to change about myself. What I then decided to do was, like you saw in the Naruto clip, I didn't want to fight myself any longer. I really sat down in front of the mirror again, and the first sentence that I said was, thank you for being strong enough. Not a lot of people even make the attempt to self-reflect. Not a lot of people can make the attempt to really look at everything that went wrong with them and the decisions that they made. And I really looked back at some of the most hardest moments for me to reflect on. I'm even noticing it now. I really had a subconscious shift too, because it went from me tearing down myself to uplifting myself, giving myself courage. I used to tell myself, you're not doing enough, you're gonna fail. I was pushing myself to do more out of a failure mindset, not a growth mindset. That was just bringing me down. You have to give yourself some positive reinforcement. Instead, I was pushing myself to do better out of a fear of punishment. As I began to love myself more and more, I started to give myself subconsciously more words of encouragement, like, good job, keep working, good work, boy. And my energy started to shift, rather of trying to become a perfectionist, but rather trying to make mistakes so you can be as close as you can to being perfect. I guess you could say I started embracing failing. I started embracing rejection because I knew it was only taking me a step closer to my goal. You guys gotta realize that there's a lot of the things that you may have done in the past that you're older and you're looking back at it, and it's really hard for you to accept that. It's like in Christianity when they say you have to forgive yourself of your sins. Why do you think so many people, after having some of the most roughest lives, people that go to jail, they come out and the first thing that they do is they get baptized? Because they want to cleanse themselves. They want to forgive themselves. They're asking for forgiveness from God, but deep down, they're asking for forgiveness from themselves. Because I'm telling you, once you forgive yourself, once you embrace yourself, because you gotta realize, you wouldn't be who you are today if it wasn't for you in the past. You have to understand that. You have to love yourself. Love yourself, because there's nobody else like you. You had a unique experience that really changed your character. But don't destroy the moment. No, embrace the moments, because that moment made you who you are. If you're only looking at the negatives of it, change your mind so that way you can see the positives of it. How can you get a positive reinforcement after that negative emotion? When you hate yourself, it's not going to make you better. You're going to be more self-critical. You're never going to be able to truly handle rejection, because you're always trying to find victory. You're trying to find victory just to prove to yourself that you're enough. You are enough. You are worthy. You are loved. So to wrap it up, the true meaning of that Naruto clip was, give yourself a hug. And I don't mean literally physically, but mentally. Love yourself. I don't want you to say any hateful things to yourself. If you think you're not doing enough, okay, then do more. Don't just tear yourself down. Make actions, make statements. I will do this. I will achieve this. Start making your words become gold, because your words are valuable. When you speak, they mean something, and they especially mean the most important thing. When you say, I love myself, that's worth more than gold. That's worth platinum. That's worth diamonds. That's worth netherite. So moving forward from this video, look in the mirror and deeply reflect. I want you to verse your true self. You can't hide who you are from yourself. If you know you're living an unhealthy life, an undisciplined life, a life with no morals, it's gonna show. Like with that Aiden Ross video that I had in the past. He's not happy with himself, but he's doing so good, but yet he's not happy because of just who he is inside. Find self-love, and you'll be able to love everybody and everything around you. At the end of the day, I ain't a preacher. I'm just a guy talking.